Okay, now we're going to do section 12, which is creating the gathered pocket. And we've got quite a long piece of fabric. It's 6.5 inches deep and 22 inches across. And what it does say is start by marking a line 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and then lay some double-sided tape. As it happens, my double-sided tape is 1/4 of an inch wide, so I'm not going to mark the line as I don't need to. I'm just going to lay it down on the fabric. And once I've done that, peel off the tape, or the backing of the tape, shall I say, and then fold over. And then it does say to mark 3/4 of an inch down from the top edge. So as I fold it over, I'll mark a line that's 1/2 an inch from the folded edge. So I've marked the line, but that's the line we're folding at, and it can be difficult to see sometimes when you're trying to fold lines over on the marked line. So what I like to do is mark another line 1/2 an inch down from that. So that then basically we're folding over and meeting the second line that I've drawn. So I'm going to press this rather than put double-sided tape, because we're going to thread elastic through, and if there's any tape poking out, it's going to catch the elastic and it will be really difficult to push the elastic through. So I'm going to press it over, take it to the machine and stitch carefully close to the edge of that seam, not the folded part, but the this line, as you can see. I'll show it to you after. Anyway, I'm lost for words. So yeah, so there. I'll take it to the machine and stitch along the edge. Okay, so I've stitched it, and I did actually push the elastic through, gathered it, and then forgot that I have to stitch 2 rows of basting stitches along the bottom, which, to be honest, I could do with it gathered, but it would just be a lot quicker and easier just to do it on the straight. So I just pulled the elastic back out, and now I'm going to put the basting stitches in. You need to pull your bobbin thread up, so that you've got 2 long threads to start with. You need that to be able to pull on the stitching. And then having your thread on number 5, and don't back stitch, just stitch at 1/8 of a seam allowance, 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and you may find it will start gathering as you stitch, like so. And all I'll do is get hold of it, because I don't want it to gather, because I've got to stitch a second row. And don't use your automatic cutter. Pull the threads out. Make sure you've got a nice long tail again for the second row, and then just straighten that out so that you've not got lots of gathers. And then stitch the second row 1/8 of an inch down from the first. And I allowed that to gather because it's doing the job for me. Okay, so you pull on the bobbin thread, not the top thread. It's the bobbin thread that gathers. And you gently tease it. If you really give it a yank, you could snap the thread, and then you've got to start all over again. And you want to gather it until there's an 11-inch width of fabric that's gathered. Just measure. I think I might have gone too far. Yeah, an inch too far, so just let it out a little bit. And that's all you have to do, just there you go, that's 11. So what I do, I put a pin at the end, and then I get all 4 threads and I wrap around in a figure of 8. Just until I get it to the machine. I just want to check that it still stayed at the 11-inch mark. Yep. And make sure you've got all 4 threads through. I'm just going to do the same on this end. And then I'm just going to stitch across just to catch those stitches in to stop them coming out. There, I'm going to take them out now, and we can cut the long threads out of the way. And now we get, can't find my bodkin now. Ah, there. I've got my bodkin. For those of you who haven't really sewn for long and haven't dressmade, etc., bodkins are for the job, this job, pulling elastic through, or all sorts through, string, whatever. You pull it through material, and they do the job lovely. But if you don't have one of these, just use a safety pin that will fit, a small safety pin. And if you don't have anything for the job, you're in trouble. You need to go and get one. It's just a case of getting the fabric over that bit of elastic, teasing it in, like so. And then pull it through. Out the other end. And then I just want to secure that with a safety pin to make sure it doesn't come flying into the material again and lose it. And then we just need to gather to make it 11 inches like we did the bottom. And again, you just have to keep checking until you get the size you want. I should nearly be there. Yeah, I'm at 11. And now I just want to gather evenly, just space it out nice and evenly. Like so. And then we're just going to stitch either side of the elastic, the material, just to fasten that elastic in there. Okay, we get our lining and we get it the opposite end of the zip pocket. And we need to measure 7 3/4 down from the top, from this end. So 7 3/4. Just draw the line across. Okay, and then we want to lay the pocket right side down with the rough gathered end against the line and just pin it in place. And just make sure that you've got it gathered nice and evenly, because you are going to be stitching the gathers like to be permanent. So what I like to do is put both ends in and then just play about with it until I'm happy that it's looking relatively even. And just go along and put some more pins in every now and then. Okay, so now we want to do 2 rows of stitching, just to stitch that in place. I'm sorry as well, it's only 1 row of stitching, not 2. I don't know what I was thinking. So I've stitched that in place, and now what you need to do, I'm just going to, having learnt previously, I'm going to get rid of these tatty hanger-ons. Otherwise you won't see them because they'll be in the lining, but you'll know they're there. So yeah. And now you want to bring the pocket up. Like so. Oh my goodness, lots of little threads. And you want to stitch the sides in place, then find the center and we'll be stitching there. So first thing I'm going to do is stitch up the sides. I've stitched the sides, and you can see we've got quite a nice gathered pocket. And now I want to find the centre line for stitching down the middle to make 2 pockets. So, and the best thing to do is to mark above and below, and then stitch. Start from the bottom of the pocket and work upwards, otherwise you could end up with a bit of a gather at the bottom. And I'm just going to pull that out. And run a row of stitching along the bottom. So there we have the gathered pockets, and we've stitched down the centre and we've stitched along the bottom edge there to anchor that bottom in place. So that's your lining prepared, and the next thing will be is to add the lining side panels, which is section 13.